can you beat Pokemon Legends Arceus with an advent calendar? Well, yes, but it was a really fun experience, and this is going to be a highlight reel, as well as some moments I really found interesting, some clips the team we ended up getting. Overall, it's a really interesting challenge, and I hope you enjoy. Not too long after starting, we ended up getting a Silver Pikachu, which means we could use any electric type the game provided to us. Which means we got access to our starter Pokemon, Shinx. I quickly got a more time-appropriate outfit, and immediately changed it with the outfit you get for having saved data for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Then I was told, you're too pathetic and weak, go ahead and catch 100 Bidoof. So, hours of Bidoof catching later, and I was able to cross the bridge. However, when I went to claim my prize, crossing the bridge, this bootleg Ash Ketchum showed up and threw a Pikachu at me. So I sent Tsubasa out, and we fought to the death. I won, and he gifted me an Eevee. And then when I crossed the bridge, this weird blue goblin thing prevented me from crossing, and I had to beat it up with Tsubasa. I don't know where it came from, I don't know what it is, but it was annoying, so I killed it. Then I walked up a mountain, and a giant cricket attacked me. Now, in all seriousness, this fight was ridiculous. I had to throw out some Pokemon that were in my party solely because I caught them so I could progress in the story. And I didn't really let them do a move, I just kind of had to use them as switch fodder. But this fight is surprisingly difficult if you're not catching Pokemon. This damn Kricketune basically ended up having me just chuck balls at it with the Pokemon that I couldn't use, while weakening it with the ones I could. Sadly, most of my Pokemon died, and I never fought an Alpha Pokemon for the rest of this playthrough, because Kricketune honestly gave me PTSD. It was ridiculous. It's a surprisingly hard fight, and please, level your Pokemon up before this. Please do. However, when it died, it dropped a mysterious egg, which I kept with me for the next little while. Then we had the first of many servings of potato mochi, and I had to do another trainer battle. Some dude claiming to be Clay's ancestor threw a slug at me. Tsubasa, who had now evolved, had no problem dealing with him. The blonde chick told me there was a Mr. Mime who was addicted to drugs, and I should help him, and then she'll help me destroy a glowing Pokemon. So, I did the only reasonable thing, and went to the black market of Pokemon. I hid in the grass and intercepted the drug deal in the middle of a field, in the middle of the day, where no one else was involved. Yeah, I think I caught the wrong person. After telling Irida I caught the wrong person, she got extremely mad at me and demanded a fight, sending out a Pokemon you won't be able to obtain till the very end of the game, and has always been like that since they were introduced. Thankfully, I have an electric cat. Electric cat beats frozen water dog. After beating her, I storm ahead into Cleaver's domain, where I fight the first actual boss in a Pokemon game ever. Now, these aren't actually problems, aside from the fights themselves being a bit difficult, but there's no actual Pokemon battle that you need to participate in, since it's pretty much entirely just dodging their attacks and throwing bombs at them. So, I'll mention the ones that are extremely tricky, and I'll mention them, but no, none of these were too much of a challenge, unless I specifically state that. So, I lost all the footage for the first half of the Crimson Mirelands, but nothing major happened. Drog joined the party, and that's about it. Ursaluna was, once again, difficult and annoying. And then the Misfortune Sisters dropped another egg. The eggs together ended up matching and being counterparts, which meant I was going to get 2 counterpart Pokemon sooner than later. I failed miserably to this fight, and did the only thing that was even ridiculously considerable. One of the eggs hatched. That being Cain, the Growlithe. Growlithe demolished Ursaluna, ignore the type matchup, and we were able to progress in the story. After getting the most useless ride Pokemon in the history of ride Pokemon, we find a dead lady, we resurrect her using a revive, and she tells us that Lilligant has gone mad. Since Lilligant is the dodge tutorial, it was incredibly easy, and I actually did do some Pokemon battling this time, because I had Growlithe in the party, who quite quickly dealt with it due to the fact Growlithe is a fire type. It really wasn't that interesting of a fight. When the Lilligant stopped its frenzy, it was holding a Pokeball. I opened the Pokeball, and it had a Magikarp, who I quickly trained to a Gyarados, and they joined the team. After our second helping of Potato Mochi, we proceed on into the Cobalt Coastlands. Tsubasa then evolves, one more time. Irida forces us into a fight. We quickly cripple her Glaceon using our newly evolved Tsubasa, where she gives us the Eevee she was using. We meet a lady with 2 canes of her own, and she pretty well tells us, "Hey, I have a crush on my enemy, and he's horribly afraid of Pokemon. Can you hire someone to kidnap these Pokemon so I don't have to take care of them?" So I proceed to find whoever she had a crush on and work with them instead. I remember I had to catch all the Pokemon, so I decided to go to the Dreadwood Haunt and catch myself a Dusclops. Conveniently enough, I needed Dusclops meat to summon Basculegion. Why? I don't know, this wasn't explained to me. Turns out her boyfriend had already hired some thieves to steal her Growliths. However, they kinda sucked and only turned 1, so we had to chase them down to request a refund. One boat ride later, we meet the bandits at their hideout and challenge them to a battle since they refused to pay us back. Cain, feeling bad for his brethren, decides to jump in and fight the bandits. He does surprisingly well against the Abomasnow once he survives a hit. However, he dies quickly anyway. That leaves the rest of the party to deal with their 4 Pokemon, none of them willing to fight. The fight was tough and Tsubasa was able to carry us to the final Pokemon. Sadly, when she went down, the rest of the team did as well, and we had to retry the fight. After losing our money and dignity, we try again. We lose almost immediately on the second fight, and have to surrender from there. So, we try again. After an ungodly amount of attempts, we are finally able to beat the bandits and get our refund. Cain demands a refund, and his older brother immediately evolves into an Arcanine, breaking the rules of all known evolution and aviation. So, we have to calm it down by throwing rocks at it. The Arcanine fight is a lot easier on a second playthrough compared to a first, mostly because Arcanine itself isn't necessarily difficult, however, instead, simply requires a lot of knowledge, as a lot of its moves are easy to avoid, but it's not something you will know on your first playthrough. But after throwing a bunch of Pokemon at it, and destroying it with Cain, we were able to calm it down, and save the day. We return to the village where Adaman then goes, "I want to fight you." So, we bring out our flamethrower dog, and quickly annihilate him. We meet a subway driver in feudal Japan. I'm not even going to question that. And an annoying brat. Subway Man feels lonely, so I offer to take him to a stroll through a cave. We do so, where we encounter several powerful Pokemon that we both run away from, because I left mine at home. We escape through the exit of the cave, where the Subway Man and the brat decide to battle me. Of course, my team of dogs and canines easily beat them both senseless. Anyway, time to throw green rocks at a giant glowing yellow circle. Anyway, it's dead. I end up in the Icelands where I find a dude half naked, I like him already, and decide to follow his command. he tells me to climb up an iceberg and get a rock. Although I can't climb, so I need to find a small child guarding a bird. Play tag and murder the bird and I'll give it to you. Okay. One game of tag later, and I arrive at Snow Point Temple, where the girl tells me to follow her up the room. After googling the password to open the door, I end up fighting Sabby. Turns out sending an electric type against a ground type was a horrible idea, and I lost. I decimate half her team using a strong style move from Gyarados, leaving only one Pokemon to remain. After spamming Swift and Quick Attack with Yashiro, the battle was won. Sabby gives me her bird, I obtain a piece of shiny rock, and we fight an iceberg. But this time, the iceberg is the Titanic, and I'm the iceberg. That was an awful joke. Point being, I decimated this thing once again. I get banished over Potato Mochi, and end up going to a cabin in the woods. I battle 3 Alpha Pokemon, and then do 3 boring puzzles that weren't fun the first time, and definitely weren't the second time. The Lake Spirits show me a mysterious mural I couldn't decipher, give me a chain, and tell me to break and enter the village I was kicked out of for committing murder. I enter the final cave, find the Potato Mochi guy, and battle him. 45 minutes later, the battle is won. After the atrocious fight against Potato Man, we had to fight the commander himself. This fight, while taking me a few attempts, wasn't that hard. I simply had to take a break, since I'd been streaming longer than I usually do, and was getting really damn frustrated because of Benny. But the fight itself wasn't that hard. I had a counter to most of the Pokemon in his team, and by this point had added Eleonora the Lilligant to the team. So, frankly, it wasn't that tough of a fight, and it was done a lot sooner than you'd think. The God of Space appears from a time rift, which I immediately throw balls at until it gets in one. Then, the God of Time appears out of nowhere. And I don't have access to anything to defeat it. So, I quickly run to a mines where I encounter an annoying brat. One ye old-timey Master Ball later, and I'm fighting a god. I throw bombs at it, jam out to the awesome soundtrack, and actually have a reasonably difficult battle. Honestly, the final 2 battles in this game are pretty intense. I'm not doing the post-game in this video, nor do I think I ever will, mostly because I ran out of advent calendar, but this fight is really fun, has an awesome soundtrack, and is a great pinnacle. Its biggest problem is the Pokemon you have to fight looks... well, it's on screen. You aren't blind. I think. And if not, it's one of the worst Pokemon designs that have been created since, like, Gen 3. So, it's not a good design. And I think the trash bag is a good Pokemon. But the fight's fun, I enjoy it, I catch the Pokemon, and that ends our journey. In the end, can you beat Pokemon Legends Arceus using only an advent calendar to pick your team? Yes. Yes, you can. Was it challenging? Honestly, yeah. Pokemon Legends Arceus is a lot harder than I remember it being, despite me only playing this game when it first launched 5 months ago. Sorry if the audio was a bit off in this video, by the way. I'm using a new program to edit my videos and stuff. I'm working on fixing it, but I really wanted to get this video out there because I've been working on it for a while. Aside from that, there should be an end card on screen that will show you a playlist of all the live streams and the parts I did off camera. So if you want to see what actually happened and isn't this horribly adapted version, you can click right there. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.